Zach Needles in Richboro, Pennsylvania.
And I'm Elena Lancaster in San Francisco. This is Legal Speak, where we break down what's happening in the legal industry. In this week's episode, Law.com Business of Law reporter Dylan Jackson talks to Yvette Ostalaza, the chair-elect of Sidley's Management Committee, and Larry Barden, the firm's outgoing chair.
The conversation centers on the timeless topic of succession planning, an area too many firms neglect despite knowing the potential cost of doing so. Barden and Ostalaza, who will be the first woman to lead Sidley in its 155-year history, discuss the firm's philosophy on succession planning and its approach to cultivating a new generation of law firm leadership that is both diverse and innovative.
Stay tuned for Dylan Jackson's conversation with Yvette Ostalaza and Larry Barden.
Thank you, Larry and Yvette, for taking the time to speak to me about this topic. Today, we're talking about succession planning, how it chooses its new successors, and how Yvette came out on top as the incoming chair. So I just want to start this off, since you're the outgoing chair, Larry, by asking you about, how Sidley thinks about succession planning, what its sort of philosophy is, and, what you think going forward.
Thanks, Dylan. We ask all of our partners at Sidley to think about succession. It is something that we think is an important part of responsibility to the firm, and it's certainly a responsibility of management. So our own management committee, our chairs of the firm, they're not exempt from having to think about succession planning. To guarantee that we do it at the management level, our own partnership agreement contemplates that the members of the executive committee and our management committee will step down from that service after obtaining the age of 65. It doesn't mean they have to leave the firm or the practice of law, but it does mean that they have to step down and hand over the responsibilities of management. Having obtained that age, it's my responsibility as well to be thinking about succession. So we knew that day was coming, and we've followed the practice that we've had in recent years within the firm of trying to announce a successor roughly about a year early. And to do that. So at this past April's annual partner meeting, I was pleased and honored really to announce that Yvette will succeed me as chair of the firm's management committee, and she will do so next April when we have our next annual partner meeting. That gives us a year to continue to work together, to prepare, to do a nice orderly handoff. It also gives a year for more and more of our partners to see Yvette in this leadership role and to envision and work with her and start to share with her their ideas and her as well, her ideas about the firm and its leadership. Picking Yvette, I tell you what, that was one of the easier things that we could have done around here. Leadership, I think we have various criteria for leadership, and among those are someone with vision, someone with strategy, someone with knowledge of the business, follows the trends, great awareness of life in a professional service firm, what it takes, that high level of client service. You want someone with human qualities, someone who understands it is a professional service firm. This is about talent management, about being successful as a recruiter and retaining that management. You want someone with confidence. People have to have confidence in them and their leadership. We have to see people with a willingness to make decisions, defend those decisions, stand by them, justify them, and change as necessary. We also ideally would like someone who understands that, it is a competitive. This is a business as much as it is a profession these days. It is competitive. And someone who understands how to bring out the best in Sidley in the eyes of our clients, bring out the best in our lawyers, and help the firm succeed. And that it requires a tremendous work ethic. It's a demanding job. You're on the road a lot, 200, 300,000 miles a year on planes, in offices, in front of clients, speaking at events, carrying out obligations for the profession. Requires a lot of balancing skills. So those are various of the qualities. And with Yvette, we found them all. Yvette, from the moment she's joined us, has shown nothing but leadership in this firm. She runs our Dallas office. That was her primary role when she started with us. She's tripled the size of the office. It's a very dynamic office, very strong, profitable office. She's moved into the role of head of litigation globally for our firm. She's made it stronger practice. She's led the recruiting effort there. She's pushed marketing. She's built an esprit de corps within that. She's challenged our partners to strive harder to bring the higher level of client service, to bring out the best in themselves. And along the way, she joined our executive committee and our management committee, where she has continued to kind of distinguish herself as a leader, focusing on strengthening the firm, its financial position, its competitive position, its levels of client service, its diversity, helping build our brand and in our rankings. So she has shown a tremendous amount of leadership because we knew that I would need a successor over the last couple of years or so as people would conduct year-end partner interviews or otherwise the topic of succession would come up and people would weigh in a little bit with their guidance as to who they could see in this role. And Yvette's name popped up, obviously, numerous times throughout those conversations because that leadership, not only seen by us here on the management committee, worked so closely with her, but was seen by our partners, it's seen by our clients as well. Yvette was an easy pick, and we couldn't be more proud of, and I couldn't be more proud of knowing that she will succeed me next April.
I, of course, want to hear from Yvette, but first, I want to sort of ask you about the firm structure with succession planning. Why is it so important for firms to get it right on succession planning? Why is it important to get out early on it? And, how long has Sidley had this policy that you mentioned earlier, where those who are 65, need to step down from management positions? Like you said, they can stay at the firm. What was sort of the motivations behind that? And how long has that been the policy?
That's been a policy for a very long time. So that actually precedes me as well. So, and I've been at it for 40 years or so. So it is a policy that I think we've adhered to. It has worked well for us. It's led to success and orderly transitions of management. We greatly value having that structure. And I think it recognizes that there is a time when refreshing management is in the interest of the organization, and it should be done in as orderly manner as possible. So I think that's an important part of it. We've recognized around here that, in a sense, the firm should pick its leaders. And it does so in those everyday communications, in those everyday dealings, in those interactions that spent both managing the firm, leading practices, leading offices, and seeing the results from that, seeing the feedback that you get from clients, from partners, from others, seeing the recognitions that people achieve in those roles, and seeing the success in those roles. These are very competitive times in big law, at the top end of the legal profession. These are high growth periods. People want confidence that their leaders can continue the growth, that their leaders understand ways to grow, that their leaders have been successful in growing their own practices and showing that leadership. And then they have to be able to relate to and be able to cover a wide geography of practices and offices and lawyers. And that is someone who has gotten around the firm very well, is visible, has reached out, has built relationships across the firm at all levels, and is well known for her ability to relate to, really to motivate, and also to stand out in the eyes of clients. I mean, she's had a tremendous career, tremendously successful practice, and has been a leader in both the eyes of clients and certainly in the eyes of the lawyers here at Sidley.
In a busy and distracting world, we've become mindful of what we focus our time and attention to. As an attorney, CLE Center allows you to apply your time to enhancing your legal knowledge while earning mandatory CLE credits.
CLE Center, a division of ALM Media, offers online, on-demand, accredited CLE courses across the U.S. Our content is curated from some of ALM's signature events, such as Legal Week and Women Influence Power and Law, in addition to skillful thought leaders from our content partnerships.
Our CLE accredited content ranges from legal technology, cyber breaches, corporate law for small to large legal teams, as well as CLE specialty credits in ethics, diversity, mental health, and more.
So whether you're a talented law firm associate, a driven solo practitioner, or a resourceful in-house counsel multitasking in different parts of your organization, you'll need CLE credits, and the CLE Center can fulfill your requirements with practical knowledge you can use.
Please visit our website at www.clecenter.com or give us a call at 1-800-348-0466.
Use code CLE20 to receive a 20% discount off your purchase at checkout. That's clecenter.com, code CLE20.
Hi there. Since you're listening to Legal Speak, a podcast that's all about trends in the legal industry, it's likely that you're a lawyer or legal professional and that you take your job and career success seriously.
You know that information gives you an edge, whether you're a partner talking to clients, an in-house lawyer advising your company's CEO, or an associate who's just starting to make a name for yourself at your organization. The most successful lawyers make it a point to stay on the forefront of what's driving litigation and deals in the sectors where their clients operate.
At Law.com, we're here to help, and you're going to want to check out our newest offering, Law.com Radar. It's a high-speed news feed that delivers updates on the latest deals, litigation, and industry headlines that are relevant to your practice. You select the companies, industries, and practice areas that matter to you, and Radar brings you the information and competitive intelligence you need.
Law.com Radar isn't a traditional news site. It's backed up by some pretty amazing technology that analyzes and refines data in seconds in order to deliver the information you need hours ahead of other sources, all in a sleek, easy-to-use website and mobile experience.
It's easy to get started, so check out the new Law.com Radar at www.law.com/radar.
That's law.com/radar for instant updates on high-stakes legal matters personalized to your practice.
I wanted to talk to you, Yvette, sort of about how you're feeling about taking on this new role. And a big part about succession planning, and something that Sidley obviously does, is have that year training period, or, that year period while Larry is still the chair, for you to sort of train up and get a better understanding of what the job entails. Tell me about also what you expect to learn in that period, what you'll be watching for, I guess what you would just expect out of the next year.
First of all, thank you, Dylan, for this interview. I really appreciate it. And what I would say is I've been at this role for a while, not as the chair, but observing in the management committee and the executive committee and in leadership of the litigation group what it takes, watching Larry and the entire management committee lead since I've joined the executive committee and the management committee has been a pleasure. And what's so exciting to me is that this new role presents a new opportunity to build and to win alongside the great diverse talent pool that we have, both at the staff level and at the attorney level at Sidley, and the sophisticated clients that we serve globally. To watch and to have this year to add on already to the time period that I've spent with Larry and with others is important, because it allows me a year to listen, go around our offices, and to formulate a vision, one that I'll develop with my colleagues on the management committee, Mike Schmickberger, and with Larry. For example, one of my immediate priorities is I'm heading to Chicago in September and listening and touring that office, setting goals for what's happening in 2022. We're going through a period of rapid change, as you know, in our industry. Part of it because of COVID, but part of it is just because the industry has been undergoing a change through AI, the expectations of clients as the world gets flatter. Looking to see what the 20s are going to look like is super exciting for me. And in my role as a litigation head, which I will transition to, this allows that succession to trickle down. And going back to your question as to why succession is important, it is important to create new opportunities. The firms like Sidley, and one of the things that attracted me to Sidley was that it had a rich history, 150 plus years of being around and being successful. And those firms that do that and institutions become great institutions, and they survive for another 150 years. So I think it's in all of our interest to constantly be looking for the next talent, for me to transition the leadership of Dallas, for me to transition the litigation group, which, by the way, if that were a law firm, it would be the 48th largest law firm in the world. I mean, this is an enormous task and an important one. I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm beyond excited to take this role. I inherit a firm that's doing quite well, so hopefully I won't mess it up. I'll try not to. But with the group of people that we have at our firm, I doubt I will.
And let me ask you the same question I asked Larry. As you look for the head of the Dallas office and the new litigation ahead, how do you think about succession planning, and what qualities do you think the next leader should have? Will there be any qualities that are perhaps different than what a firm-wide chair is asked to do. Sort of tell me how you're thinking about that.
Well, I mean, sometimes to just borrow from the US government, the state versus federalism, you're a little bit of a governor of your own office. It has a skill set that's not very different from what a national skill set is, but you are focused on the community that you're in and building a practice in that community. So it is important to have someone that has a profile in that community. I firmly believe that the best leaders are the ones already doing the job without the title. And then the title just becomes something that's added. I've always told associates, if you want to be a good partner, start thinking and acting like a partner when you're a first year as an owner. And then by the time you're a partner, it's going to be so obvious that you should be, that there's not going to be a question. And I feel the same way about leadership roles, whether it's the Dallas office or a national role.
I guess we could start winding down this podcast by asking what you're looking forward to, what sort of ideas you have, and what you would think a successful, run at the chair is.
Well, we continue to, in every way, get better, whether that's the legal talent that we're attracting. I'll analogize to colleges. Every year people say, wow, the people that are applying this year, would I have gotten in? The idea is just to continue to attract the best talent, to continue to be profitable so that we attract that talent, and to serve our clients at the highest level so that when clients see us, they say, boy, when they say negative things about lawyers, and they say, they think like a lawyer, I don't like them as a lawyer, that instead they look at Sidley Lawyer and they say they're the entire package. And I think that's what's going to take in the 20s as the world becomes a little bit more challenging in the law firms between those that succeed or not, is making sure that it is a lawyer that is well-rounded and that puts their clients' interests first. And I think that's exactly where we are at Sidley. Globally, one of the things that we're focusing more and more is on some industries that are high growth industries that are important to our clients. And more on that in 2022 and that vision that we're doing. But those are some of the things that we're focused on to continue to build to win, which is our tagline. It's not just about doing ones or twos, but it's having a law firm that is so integrated and interdisciplinary in a healthy way that clients can have a one-stop shopping, and the most creative and winning solutions are developed by a Sidley lawyer.
That's really all I have for you in terms of questions. I really appreciate you two coming on and sort of talking about your succession process and drawing back the curtain a little bit. Congratulations on your ascension, Yvette, and thank you for your time, Larry.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you, Dylan.
That's our program for today. Thanks for listening. Please send your comments, questions, and ideas for future episodes to legalspeak@alm.com.
Legal Speak is produced by Charles Garner. We'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, you can keep up with the latest legal news online at law.com.